What's going on, guys? Welcome to your late September 14th stimulus check update and stimulus package update. Earlier this morning, we got really good news from Treasury Secretary Steven Mnuchin, and I want to address that in today's stimulus update. Mnuchin came out and said, now is not the time to worry about the fiscal deficit or the Fed's balance sheet. This comes after multiple reports that state Republicans are not on board with another round of stimulus checks. Rand Paul was one of those Republicans that came out and said he does not feel that we need another round of stimulus. Now, they say that they do not want to add to the increased deficit in spite even of Jerome Powell and the Fed stating that another round of stimulus is needed. Also, not only is this very big news, but Mnuchin ended this interview and he said this. He said the Problem Solvers Caucus will be proposing a stimulus package later today. So sometime today on Monday, September 14th. However, that is not the case. The Problem Solvers Caucus is, and they do plan on submitting their own proposal, their own stimulus package proposal. However, it will not happen today. It will be sometime later on this week. Based on a lot of new reports, we have a better idea of what Democrats want, what Republicans want, and what President Trump will ultimately sign off on. Democrats, as we already know, they have passed the HEROES Act for $3.4 trillion. However, Nancy Pelosi has stated they will come down $1 trillion, which would put them at 2.4. However, it is reported that Nancy Pelosi is willing to go down to 2.2 and anywhere between 2.2 and 2.5 trillion dollars. Republicans, on the other hand, they want a stimulus package under $1 trillion. However, based on a lot of new reports, they are willing to negotiate under 1.8. So they'll go anywhere from 1 to 1.8. Anything below that, obviously, they do that as well. However, 1.8 is kind of the magic number as of right now. President Trump says he will sign a stimulus package as long as it is under $2 trillion. So, what will the Problem Solvers Caucus propose? Well, here's what we are expecting to be included into the Problem Solver Caucus proposal. First, we expect the bill to be worth anywhere between 1.5 and 1.8 trillion dollars. We also expect a second stimulus check for $1,200 for filers, $1,200 for their spouse, and $500 for all dependents. We also expect the unemployment extension anywhere from the $300 to $400 per week until December 31st. However, this is one of those things that many believe Nancy Pelosi is set on $600 per week until the end of the year, or $400 per week, but extend it through 2021 for at least a few months. So we'll see what happens there. Also, $300 to $500 billion for state and local governments. This is big because initially Democrats and Republicans were agreeing on $150 billion. Okay, that was where they started. They agreed to start. Democrats obviously want $900 billion. Republicans, they essentially wanted nothing, but they agreed, let's start at $150. And then Nancy Pelosi said we can always come back later and get more funding sometime in January, which ideally is a good idea. So we'll see what happens there, but as of right now, this proposal is expected to be anywhere from $300 to $500 billion for state and local governments. There's also supposed to be food assistance and rental assistance because of last report. The people in America are currently behind on rent by roughly by over $21 billion. So hopefully there's a decent amount of money there. I believe in the HEROES Act, Democrats wanted $100 billion for rental assistance, which after all is said and done, that is going to be fairly close to what needs to be paid back. So we'll see what happens there. Liability protections for both workers and businesses. Republicans only wanted liability protections for hospitals, schools, businesses, doctors, things like that. But that took all the blame off of those businesses, and so they could not get sued, even if they did something that was legally on them. So we'll see what happens there, because Democrats, they want liability protections for the workers, not the businesses. And $120 to $150 billion for schools. This is up from the $105 billion that we initially reported on a few weeks ago or even a month ago, because now that schools are open, it's said that most schools need more funding than they originally planned for. So $105 billion would not be enough. Also, $10 to $20 billion for the United States Postal Service. We know Democrats already passed a bill through the House that stated $25 billion for the United States Postal Service, and Republicans haven't done anything, but they accepted $10 billion for the United States Postal Service. So $10 billion is kind of the base. They're going to go up from there. Many expect it will be closer to $15 to $20 billion. Also, funding for testing and tracing. We have to get this COVID-19 pandemic under wraps. We have to figure out a way to live with it. So testing and tracing is essential. Also, PPP funding. That's one that both Democrats and Republicans are on board with. The amount for PPP funding is currently unknown. And then a payroll tax cut waiver. This is something that President Trump has been struggling with. So this is something that could potentially put more money back into the pockets of those that are currently working. So one way to give people more money, because as of right now, hazard pay is probably not going to be in this proposal. And most people anticipate hazard pay is not even being talked about anymore on the federal level. So because of that, a payroll tax waiver to completely waive off that 6.2% that you get every single week, that would be waived. So it would put more money back into the pockets of those that are working. So if you are working and you'll get a paycheck, you would receive an additional 6.2% of your wages, which is really good. Now, these are all good and will definitely help out the American people. Like Nancy Pelosi and Steve Mnuchin have both said, more stimulus will likely be required come January to fix any additional issues that arise. So, what you can and what you need to understand is that the Problem Solvers Caucus is a mix of 24 Democrats and 24 Republicans. They try to do things that are bipartisan. That's why they're called the Problem Solvers Caucus. They're not just called the Democrats, not just called the Republicans. They're the Problem Solvers Caucus because they are bipartisan. This proposal will most likely land on Mark Meadows' desk first. He's already been read in on the proposal. However, it will most likely land on his desk first. Because, and I say this, because it will be up to him if he wants to take it to Nancy Pelosi and to the House. Now, Mark Meadows is not expected to be in on the negotiations. It's actually supposed to be Treasury Secretary Steve Mnuchin. He gets along with Nancy Pelosi much better than Mark Meadows does. And Nancy Pelosi said she will not negotiate with President Trump. So it will be Mark Meadows who gets the proposal. It will be Nancy Pelosi and Treasury Secretary Steve Mnuchin who negotiate on it. And if we expect this to go anywhere, it will go to the House. I say take it to Nancy Pelosi and the House because nothing will pass through the Senate right now without bipartisan support from Democrats. Democrats are all on board with Nancy Pelosi. Republicans are not on board with Mitch McConnell and what he is doing. So, there's no point to start within the Senate because it will go nowhere. What I can tell you is that the Problem Solvers Caucus is much more in tune with America's needs than both the Democrats and the Republicans, than both the House and Senate put together. So hopefully this new proposal will gain some traction and make its way into a vote. We can all hope that this is what's going to happen. Because as we all know, America needs an additional round of stimulus. More stimulus checks, more money for people on unemployment, money for schools, money for state and local governments. There's a lot of issues and they need to be fixed. As I get word of the new proposal, as it gets sent out there, as the public starts to see it, I will obviously read it and I will give you another stimulus check update when that comes out. Who knows when that will be. Just know for now, some of our government leaders have not given up hope on us just yet, which is good. Because based on what we're seeing from Congress, from Nancy Pelosi, Mitch McConnell, the Democrats, and the Republicans, we're not seeing a whole lot of movement, and we need movement right now. So what I can tell you is just hang in there a little bit longer. I know bills are due. I understand rent needs to be paid, food is not free, and money doesn't grow on trees. But like I said, just hang in there. Things will ultimately get better. I wish I could say it will happen soon, but as of right now, I just don't know. Last thing I just want to say is, earlier today, I posted a video. It's called The Best Side Hustle No One Talks About. And I show you an item you can easily find. You can go and buy this item for less than $10. And you can easily sell this for about $100 a piece. I show you this, I walk you through it, walk you through the numbers, walk you through some of the items that you can find, and I also explain to you where I like to go to buy this exact same item. Go and watch that video. I'm going to link to it down in the description box below. Go and watch that video because it's going to highlight one of the things that you can easily go and buy to make money from. If you want to make an additional $2,400 every single month, watch this video, because I guarantee you there's people that are watching this video right now that are probably making money. So if you have any questions on stimulus, if you have any questions on how to make money, all you got to do, ask your questions down in the comment section below. Just want to thank you guys for watching today's video. Do me a favor, if you enjoyed today's video and you're glad, you appreciate the time I put into these videos so that you don't have to spend hours and hours of your time wasting your time to learn to see what Congress is doing or not doing, do me a favor, like always, go ahead, smash that thumbs up button, subscribe so you stay updated on all things stimulus, and I'll see you guys on the next one.